Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and my coffee is on. Actually, it's my probably second or third cup of coffee, and I forgot to bring it in here to do this video, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and power through the video without it. First, I was going to make an announcement. I was very grateful to get an invitation to this year's Ripple Swell. It was going to be in London. They actually announced that it was going to be in London at the end of last year's Swell that I went to in Singapore. And then because of the current events, they ended up having to do it virtually. But they're doing Ripple Swell virtually, and it's on October the 14th and the 15th. And I got my invite. Now, I'm very excited to get it. This is going to be really cool. But here's what's even more exciting. I received a message directly from the man himself, and I'm very flattered and appreciative. David Schwartz sent me a message and invited me to be on a panel. And I don't know if the panel is going to be something that's pre-recorded or if it's even going to be shown at Swell, but he invited me to be on it, and I'm flattered to get the chance. And I just hope that he doesn't talk too far over my head. Last time, I've told the story before, when I went to Swell in Singapore, I was talking, and there's actually a picture of me talking to David Schwartz. And it's kind of like you ask him a question, and I mean, I have no background from a tech perspective, but you're talking to a guy who's like, it's like talking to Einstein. And you ask a question, and then he starts to answer the question, and he doesn't even realize it, but within seconds, he's like flying at 40,000 feet, and I'm just taking off. So I can only hope that I can bring something to the conversation, and I'm not sure exactly which topics that they'll cover, but I'm just flattered to be invited, and I really look forward to it, and I appreciate Ripple giving me a chance to come. So that will be on October 14th and 15th, and that I'm excited about that big time. All right. Speaking of big time, this person's Twitter handle is big time. And they sent me this from Swift. We're working with our community to develop an exciting new service aimed at consumers and SMEs. The new initiative will transform the experience of sending low-value cross-border payments from account to account, making it fast, predictable, and easy. This is from David Watson, the Chief Strategy Officer at Swift. And we'll see him again in a second. Michael at VAL5 Links had tweeted this out. Interbank messaging network Swift is to move into the low-value remittance market, providing member banks with the means to make instantaneous transactions across borders for small and medium-sized companies and consumers. And then this is the article that was going around this morning. Swift to move into low-value consumer payments market. Interbank messaging network Swift is to move into the low-value remittance market, providing member banks with the means to make instantaneous transactions across borders for small and medium-sized companies and consumers. Down here's the interesting part to me. Well, first of all, David Watson, the Chief Strategy Officer at Swift, says the success of Swift GPI, which is used by thousands of banks and carries billions of payments globally, enables ever faster transaction processing times and transparency, and now provides us with the opportunity to transform the experience in the SME and consumer payment markets. And then it says last week, it shows the banks they're working with already. Last week, the first payments through the new service were successfully exchanged between banks who are helping develop it. Bank of China, Barclays, BN. Now, this should interest everyone right here, because all we hear is about how China has gone rogue and they're trying to go around SWIFT and all this. And there you see, Bank of China is testing this new, or at least maybe they've gone live is what they're saying here. Now, you need to pay attention to some of these names because many of these names you're going to hear have been working with Ripple over the last few years. Barclays, BNP Paribas, BNY Mellon. I pay very close attention to that one because they're all up into some Ripple. I can promise you that. Deutsche Bank. I'm not going to go through all of these. Standard Bank, StoneX, Unicredit, Wells Fargo. An additional 7 banks will participate in a pilot phase starting at the end of October. These BBVA, I know that's been a Ripple partner. HSBC, we know Chris Larson was on a board there. Russia. So we've also been being told that Russia was trying to go around the SWIFT system. And there's Standard Chartered, who is a node on the network away from Ripple, according to Brad Garlinghouse when Kahina Van Dyke went there, right? All the world's a stage, folks. Watch. This is that guy right there is David Watson, Chief Strategy Officer at SWIFT. Look who he happens to be in a call with. That would be Marjan Delatine of Ripple.
The very last word of the entire panel will come from you. It's about whether Ripple depends upon money being locked up in Moscow accounts.
No, I think the way that the correspondent banking is working is precisely based on this nostro vostro, and this is creating lots of trapped capital. Now, the thing is, okay, is there any way of doing that? And I think I refer that to in the beginning of one of the questions is there any way to source on-demand liquidity? And this is not necessarily for US dollar or euro, it's more for markets that you don't necessarily want to keep liquidity and you want to really move funds when you need it. So the way that we are working on this, and this is a live product that it is used in multiple corridors, is using XRP, which is our native crypto assets, as a bridge between the two let's say fiat currencies. And this is completely revolutionizing actually the way that the pre-funding is happening today. So you really on the fly, you move funds. And we extend these services now to more and more corridors, typically corridors, exotic corridors with lots of challenges, like Philippines, very soon in Brazil. So there are, let's say there is a big agenda and roadmap on that. So this is changing the nostro-vostro relationship.
Awesome. Okay. Then XRP Bart sent me this. There's everybody from Ripple was weighing in on this. They were tweeting around different things yesterday and today. This is Ashish Burla. RippleNet is already ISO 20022 compliant, making us well prepared for 2030. He's retweeting this article about how online payments is going to be completely changed by 2030, but Ripple's already ready to go. And I think we remember a while back, we saw that SWIFT had put this off becoming compliant for a while or something like that, as I recall. But anyway, Ripple's ready to go. Then Marcus Treacher was tweeting this out. This was yesterday when Brad Garlinghouse was tweeting out about how Ripple would be carbon neutral? Yeah, carbon neutral by 2030. No use building the future of payments unless we also solve for sustainability. Key move by Ripple. And then Emi Yoshikawa. Today, Ripple announced our sustainability goals in partnership with industry leaders in the space together shape the future of sustainable financial technology. Now, when David Schwartz sent me a message yesterday afternoon, in fact, I told him my son had just lost a baseball game that they should have won. And I replied to him, I said, yeah, my son just lost this game. And I was not happy about it because they easily could have won the game. Lost the game, and I looked down, and David Schwartz has sent me a message. It was pretty darn cool. So anyway, in the message, he told me to check out this xrpl.org site. It's the XRP Ledger site. Best way to move money around the world. It's really cool. It's got all kinds of, they did a great job on the graphics on this site, by the way. Cross-border payments, micro payments, digital cryptocurrency wallets. I'll click on a few of these things so you can go see them. Options for storing XRP. It's got Ledger Software Wallet, Spring, Sum, Trust Wallet, Harbor Wallet, and then the hard wallets, Trezor, Ledger. I haven't even heard of this one before. I'll have to go check that out. Then it's got, it says you can go and learn. Let's go look at the history. I thought it was interesting that they think that they thought it was important to show the history of the timeline of the XRP evolution. 2011 XRP ledger development. And it talks about how David Schwartz, Jed McCaleb, and Arthur Brito had done all this. Then in 2012, XRP launched. And they talk in here about like, OpenCoin, and then 2013, OpenCoin rebranded to Ripple Labs, and then how digital assets will help create a sustainable global economy. They got this cool graphic of Chris Larson. This looks like my thumbnail. I need to do a screen grab right here because I think it's really cool how the futuristic little thing they did there with Chris Larson. They've even got a clip from a Blockstars podcast with Chris Larson. But you can go and explore all over the place on this website. It's really cool. There's stuff for developers, all kinds of cool stuff. All right, James Rule. Now, don't forget this one, folks. He reminds us two sides of the American coin: innovation and regulation of digital assets, virtual. This is today from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. You can click here and you can go register to watch it live. I plan on doing that. In fact, it's starting right in the middle of me doing this video, but that's okay. I'll go and get in there if I can. Or somebody else is going to probably tweet some really cool video of this. We'll see. I thought this was a great tweet. Gold Telegraph. What is $100 US dollars worth in 1913 over time? Flag of the United States. Now this tells you everything you need to know about where you need to be putting your money. My money goes into crypto, gold, and silver. 1913, $100. By 1923, that $100 is worth $57.89. By 1933, it's up a little bit to $76.15. Look what happens over time, folks. By 1973, it's worth $22.30. And by 2019, $3.87. Fiat currency equals bad money. It's by design, folks. They have made us more and more poor over time so that they could have a monopoly on money and their own racket. That's what the Federal Reserve System has always been. IMF calls for urgent action to prevent debt crisis in emerging economies. And then we've got this. How many times have you heard people say that Codius was no longer a thing or it was dead? Codius is not dead. Codius never was dead. That's the dirty little secret. This guy asks Stefan Thomas, Just Moon, who is the target user for Codius? It's not financially competitive with AWS, Azure, G Cloud, or DO, and you need to peer with Strata to use a host other than Viper. Just curious. Now this is all tech talk to me, but I'm interested in what his response. Agree that Codius isn't ready yet, and I haven't been promoting it, but there is promising work ongoing on making interledger access much easier. Codius now supports scale to zero serverless, which massively less than 100 times lowers the cost for low traffic pods. More to come. As to your main question, who will use it? Codius is just standardized interledger paid hosting. Possible use cases: distributed applications, indie web, custom CDNs, on-demand compute. Now, a lot of that's Greek to me, but the point is, and for those of you that don't know, Codius was like a smart contract platform that was going to work with XRP, was my understanding. And so, but it's never been stopped. That's the important point here. Okay. I thought this was interesting. SpaceX T-minus 30 minutes until Falcon 9 launch of 60 Starlink satellites webcast. They were going to do this earlier, and they probably already launched, and I'll probably go back and watch it. If you haven't watched one of these, it is amazing how fast they can go from a launch, and then within like minutes, literally minutes, they're launching 60 satellites into outer space, folks. You need to watch it. It's unbelievable. I saw this tweet by Tom Emmer. Now remember, I'm going to remind you who Tom Emmer is, but here he says it was an honor flying on Air Force One yesterday with my friends. Thank you, Mr. President Donald Trump, for the opportunity for visiting Minnesota. So these guys are on the plane with Donald Trump. And Tom Emmer is the same guy who said this.
For 2 years, first off, my position's very clear. XRP is not a security, all right? But even if you want to do this, you want to have this discussion, the SEC, my frustration, as you probably have heard very directly, you brought up in a very nice way. Maybe you should be doing this job and I should be doing that one because I'm not going to be so nice. Over 2 years is not only a problem, it is absolutely unacceptable. Because what this does is entrepreneurs like you and everybody else on this town hall, you start looking elsewhere. Money will go where it's easiest to flow. And the more the government puts in obstacles, and one of them is just inaction, the less opportunity we have to position the U.S. as the leader. And it's an obstacle to growth. So we're going to keep working. Really appreciate all your support. And together, we're going to keep educating these members of Congress. And as we're doing this and you guys are saying I'm going to make a donation, forgive me, Perry Ann, because I know we are short on time. Again, do you know how powerful this is for some elected officials to look over and say, what's Emmer doing? He's getting what? He's getting, oh my goodness, campaign contributions. I need to learn more about what's going on with cryptocurrencies.
By the way, that's Brad Garlinghouse
it's just,
right there.
It's human nature, and it's good. We need to push them.
Well, we want to help you in that push. So again, thank you for your leadership on this. I think it does have an impact. And look, it's been 2 years, but we're going to keep pushing.
Good.
Okay, so just to reiterate, I love this picture of Tom Emmer who said all of that on Air Force One. And what it reminded me of is this picture of Ken Kersen, who's on Ripple's board, standing in the Oval Office. So now we have one guy who is pro XRP that's on Air Force One, and we have another one that's pro XRP and an owner of XRP and on the board of directors of Ripple, who's in the Oval Office, and he said this.
Sometimes people say to me,
hold on, see if I can get that to play.
Oh, I guess you had to.
Hold tight. Sorry, another audio malfunction, the story of my life. Here we go.
To support Donald Trump because you work for Jared Kushner, and that's totally wrong. That's the opposite. I had gone to see Trump in 2011 to try to get him to run for the presidency in 2012. I knew it was going to be Mitt Romney unless somebody awesome ran. I couldn't stand Mitt Romney, still can't, and I thought Obama was a disaster as a president, and that someone stronger than Romney needed to run against him. So I had a meeting at Trump Tower with Donald Trump in 2011. That's 2 years before I worked at the Observer. So yeah, you're right, Ash. There was a certain amount of heat directed that just would have been generic at cooperating with any candidate, but there was a special temperature rise devoted to this particular candidate. And what made 2008 that I kept thinking, this digital stuff that Chris was talking about, it has a future. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'd never heard of Bitcoin. But then in like 2011, and I'm not super into like the programming world. I'm not really in touch with other message board guys. The ones who look like Plague from the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. But I started to hear it percolating around. I was looking into it as a journalist, and I bought my first Bitcoin in I think 2012 for about $90, and I remember thinking, "This is terrible. Everyone else paid, 50 cents. Why am I paying almost $100?" And then that same guy, Chris Larson, became the CEO of Ripple, which is a currency that shares some attributes with Bitcoin. Not a lot. I mean, it's a cryptocurrency, but it's validated totally differently, and has a real. Bitcoin doesn't care what you use it for, which is one of its attributes. It's one of the reasons people like it. Whereas Ripple has a very specific usage, which is remittances.
That's right. So that's two guys, one on Air Force One and one in the Oval Office. Now, this made me laugh today. Apparently, Yoshitaka Kitao has blocked XRP, the Standard Productions, because of this hilarious piece he did where Yoshitaka Kitao they're saying that he was, let's see, rare picture of young Yoshitaka Kitao as he and his karate student were threatened by Cobra Kai sensei John Kreese circa 1984. The SBI CEO is reconsidering his deal with blockchain payments company Ripple after discovering that Brad Garlinghouse was a former member of the dojo. This made me laugh so hard this morning, and so I had to show it. Now, I wanted to remind everybody, go and download the Linqto app from the Apple Store, or you can also go to their website. You need to download the app from the Apple Store, or you can download it from the Google Play Store, or you can go to Linqto.com and just sign up. Once you do that, even if you're not an accredited investor, once you fill in your information, once you've done that, you can go and you can go to these global investor conferences that they do. And people like Tim Draper have been there, Greg Kidd, and then Miguel Valles works there now, so he's probably going to be there as like a regular. So you can go and hear what these people in the investing world, in the angel investing world, have to say. It's pretty cool. That's a free benefit just for downloading the app and signing up. Pretty cool. But if you are accredited, of course, you can have the opportunity to get these shares in. I think they just added Kraken the other day, which is a major crypto brokerage firm, and it sold out within, I think, minutes. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that you could see Tim Draper at one of these global investor conferences if you've downloaded the Linqto app and input your information. Thank you for listening.
Every day, billions of people around the world are mocked, ridiculed, laughed at, and embarrassed by their friends, family, and even strangers. These people go through their days knowing there are secrets being kept from them. They hear the faint whispers behind closed doors. The information and knowledge is held very close and only shared with others who were fortunate enough to find out. Feeling lost, rejected, and ostracized, these people give up, never finding out what digital assets the digital asset investor holds. But there is hope. Join the free Digital Asset Investor email newsletter and find out what digital assets he owns each month, including investments he's considering. Click the link in the description of this video or go to digitalassetinvestornewsletter.com. Put an end to your days of gloom and depression. Join the greatest free digital asset email newsletter ever created.